I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here I share legal and entertainment news from a psychological perspective. So I started watching Ali Abulaban's testimony in the trial where he is charged with unaliving his wife and her friend. This case is extremely difficult, and the things he says and the things he does, in my opinion, are clear signs of significant issues. And he's going to try to blame mental health and substance abuse. And he is also going to try to make himself the victim in all of this. And a lot of these are patterns that we see with individuals who are malignant narcissists. Now, I do not know him. I cannot diagnose him. I can, as we're going through this, I will point out why I think some of the things I think based on what we are seeing and hearing in his testimony. And I do think a part of him testifying might have been him wanting to desperately tell his side of the story. I also think this is another attempt to, and even in her death, he is still doing a smear campaign where he is trying to make her out to be this horrible person that betrayed him. And he is this loving husband, despite the evidence showing his history of maltreatment towards her and just his dangerousness and his behavior. And he is going to deny and minimize so much of this. And if you have not heard of like I truly have not seen a better example of the dark triad. And I will break that down. I listened to a video and I have it linked down in the description of Dr. Ramani. You know, I adore her. And I took notes on a video of hers where she kind of breaks down some things. And I'm going to share some quotes from her from that video. And I have the full video linked down below. And so even from the very start of his testimony, as he's fixing the mic, as he's fixing himself, as he's doing all of those things, and then we are definitely going to cover the cross-examination. So right now it's 2 p.m. Eastern, and I have until like 3:55 p.m. So I might have to speed through some of this. He is going to start out with like blaming his dad and talking about his traumatic childhood. And I do believe that he likely experienced a lot during that childhood. And I'm going to mention some things that Dr. Ramani said. I wish he had received some treatment along the way because he seemed to self-medicate and to just not even recognize how he became his father, like, in my opinion. He clearly, and worse than his father, because his father didn't, like, he's not charged with what Ali is charged with. So let's shift this here. Let's get started.
Ali.
If you need a history of this case, so if you have not heard of this case at all, in the description, I have a brief overview of the case, and I've also done a full video before covering this one. It is in my court playlist.
Abulaban.
And please spell both of those names.
ALI-ABULABAN.
And at times, this feels like a performance. Y'all let me know if y'all felt this the same way. To me, so much of this felt like a performance at times. Now, the cross-examination, he is going to come out of I think the character that he's playing. He is going to get agitated. He is going to like get upset about somebody mocking him in the audience, and he's going to try to talk back to the judge. He does so much, and oh my gosh, like it is just ugh. And so glad that you all are here. Lisa, I just took them out right before this video. So twists, I do my twist on Sunday, and then Thursday sometimes I do a twist out. So thank y'all. I'm going to interrupt him a lot.
Good morning, Mr. Abulaban.
Good morning.
I want to start off by asking you just some basic background information. How old are you, sir?
I just turned 32.
On October 21st of 2021, how old were you?
29.
And on October 21st of 2021, were you married?
I was.
Who were you married to?
Anna Marie Abulaban.
Now, at least you hear what could be interpreted as like care or affection. In my opinion, if he does have traits of narcissism, it's almost like he lost the object of his affection and not like the actual person who Anna actually was. It's more of what she gave him and how he felt. So these are some of my quotes from Dr. Ramani. A malignant narcissist engages in exploitation, coercive control, meanness, and they are very, very cruel. And they can be very deceitful and lie to protect their own interests and their extremely fragile egos. And we are going to see that clearly, to me, in a lot of his testimony. And that those patterns, that there can be this antisocial quality where there's a disregard for the needs and safety of others, a willingness to take advantage of others, and ethically and legally engaging in sketchy behavior. They bend and break the rules and laws and intimidate people for their own advantage. And that their three main things are power, profit, and pleasure. So once again, those are all from the great Dr. Ramani, and I have that full link about malignant narcissists down in the description.
Did you and Anna have a child together?
We do.
And what is her name?
Amira Aliana Abulaban.
On October 21st of 2021, how long had you and Anna been married?
About 5 years, but we had been together in total for just short of 7.
He's going to do a lot of answering the question that he wants versus just answering the question, or he's going to do a lot of qualification of his answers, because I think he wants to get a certain narrative in front of the jury.
So married 5 years, but together for almost 7.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk to you now. We're going to go sort of chronologically, okay? I want to talk to you about growing up in your household. We heard from your mom yesterday. And I want to hear from you about what it was like for you. Okay? Who are your parents?
My father is Nasser Abulaban. My mother is Dalal Laura.
And his mother testified in the trial, and I don't think it came out from the defense, but the prosecution is going to bring up right around the time that he started getting more and more aggressive with his wife. His mom was leaving his father, had like run off with somebody. They found out that she had been having an affair. And to me, I'm wondering if some of that played into him, especially with his like paranoia that she must be doing something, and then his inability to let her go. So it never entered his mind that she had the right to leave him. Like he just kept saying like, she wouldn't accept my flowers. She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't do this. And it's like, she had every right to leave him, and he would not allow it.
And that the law is who testified yesterday, is that right?
Yes,
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have an older half sister from a different mother. Her name is Amina. But from my parents, I'm the oldest. And then I have my sister Zainab, Sammy, Shireen.
Sammy is your brother.
Yes.
And you said that you are the
I'm going to fast forward a little bit. He is going to describe some issues with his father, and he is going to allege that there was physical harm by his, so physical and verbal harm from his father, and that like his father was overly strict. His father wasn't accepting of him. His family is Arab and Muslim, and his father desperately wanted for him to like not be Americanized. And so he's first generation. So like I think so he was born here, but I think his father wasn't. And Ali desperately wanted to fit in, and he did not fit in well. He's going to talk about getting diagnosed with ADHD and trying medication and it working for a period of time, and then missing one dose and just feeling like he could not function without it, and then weaning himself off of the medication. He's going to talk about that.
His response to me pestering my mother to purchase this for me, I think.
And right now he's talking about wanting a Star Wars toy at 14 or 15 years old, and his father being very upset about him pestering his mom about getting it.
It was a Darth Vader helmet that changes your voice. Was to grab the vacuum cable and whip me repeatedly. And when I say whip, you could hear you can hear it. And that was the worst pain that I've ever felt physically. I literally would beg him to stop. And he's asking me, why are you fucking crying? Why are you crying? As he's whipping me, you know? But with my dad, he gets in these rages, he gets in these anger, but then he calms down and then.
And he is not going to have the insight that he's engaging in the exact same behavior with his family. In my opinion, he has very little insight that he did the exact same thing to his family.
I was just trying to get context. I don't think he knew how much he was hurting me, is what I'm trying to say. But then I went to school the next day, and I guess I was drawing on one of the papers, and the teacher had pulled the back of my collar. I guess I didn't know I had brown welts all over my back, and she asked me, who did this to you? And I said, in our culture, we don't rat on our families. We don't. So I had made some stupid excuse like, oh, I was running through the forest and a bunch of tree branches were hitting me, just something I could make up in the spot.
And that was when you were about 14 years old?
Middle school or freshman year of high school. So whatever old.
In addition to those sort of examples of physical violence, was there emotional abuse in your household?
To me?
To you?
Yes.
For instance, would you be yelled at a lot by your father?
Yes.
About what type of things would end up with you being yelled
at? Wanting to go out, hang out with my friends, being out too long, or if my friends were all spending the night at somebody's house, I was never allowed to. So I would always, vent my frustration of how come they can do it? I can't, And he would constantly say things like, oh, I'm not going to raise my kids American. We're Muslim. Like we would say in Arabic, "Ihna Muslimin," like we're Muslims. Sorry, that's Arabic. Well, it's Arabic, but it was IHNA MUSLIMEEN, which means we're Muslim. We don't do these things. We don't do these things. And that was very troubling for me because I'm first generation American. I wanted to be American. I wanted to be how my friends were.
So the type of emotional abuse then seems to be stemmed from kind of a push and pull in the household about you wanting to be American and him wanting you to remain traditionally Muslim?
Yes, and Arab.
And Arab.
They kind of go hand in hand a little bit.
What about verbal abuse?
The name calling. I mean, it's really just the name calling. It doesn't matter who's around. I don't think it would have been.
And they are going to play the things that he said to Anna in front of their daughter, their 5-year-old daughter, the things that would come out of his mouth. While he was likely, there were times that I'm sure he was under the influence of that white nose powder. And he is going to talk about the day of the incident, just that he took more of that than he had ever taken ever in his life. I don't think that in any way reduces his culpability. To me, all of his actions before, in my mind, if I was on the jury, all of his actions leading up to it and his history of physical, verbal, emotional, financial harm, all of that, and his coercive control, all of those things, to me, I would personally find him guilty. I would. And I don't think this testimony helps him at all. Now, he's trying to call it a crime of passion. So that is his defense. He's trying to call it a crime of passion, that it should be manslaughter and not murder, but no. I personally feel that the state got it right, especially for the male victim. Like, I think he very much intended to, even, out of his mind, whatever. I think and not completely out of his mind, but like that he was, when he left, and he's going to say he always carried his weapon on him. He's going to make all of these excuses. And I think the cross examination is really critical.
Been half as bad if he did it in private, but it's just, no matter who's there, it's just like the way he would call me would startle me. I mean, he wouldn't say, "Hey,
He's gonna
Ollie,
say
can
it
we
loud.
talk?" It's Ollie. So I'd jump every day. Every time he called me, I would jump, and I naturally just have this reaction to just jump, and it always feels like I'm in trouble. And he would do it in front of my friends. He would talk shit about my friends. Look at your friends; they're so stupid, just like you. You're stupid. I mean, I don't know what he wanted from me. I don't know what it was he was looking for me, and that was very hard for me.
And I do, similar to Lisa, I do agree. I do believe him when he says this. I don't know how much this helps his case. And so, with a malignant narcissist, based on the video that I watched by Dr. Romani, she mentioned that they likely experience early childhood harm. Callousness is what they develop in defense against their environment, and they develop this contempt for real intimacy. So I don't think Ali realized the way that he loves is not true love. Like the way, because he loves, if it, like, it's very conditional. It's based on if you're doing what I want you to do, and his love hurts. His love, if you are the like, because you get his wrath if he loves you. And no thanks. That there is this distance, that when people get emotionally close to him, that he gets really scared. It triggers a lot for him. And then, like, a defense mechanism, and this in no way excuses anything that he does, but I try to do these videos so we can try to understand what's going on in situations like this. And so the parent, they likely learn these patterns from a parent or caregiver, or these patterns can develop as a product of their childhood experiences or other factors that harden them in order to survive. And the problem is, it's fine if you develop this to survive, but then in adulthood, go to therapy, like work on this, because yes, maybe he needed this hard shell to survive when he was a child. There were multiple signs that he was causing harm to others. And in my opinion, he didn't seek significant help. He's going to talk about doing neurofeedback, which is not for what he was doing and experiencing. Neurofeedback is like the tip of the iceberg. Like, he needed intensive work, and he needed to be honest about what he was doing. And I don't know that he would be as transparent and honest as he's being right now if we didn't have the videos of his behavior. So they have a Nest camera that recorded the call that he made to his mom, confessing to what he had done immediately after. They have the camera in the hallway at the apartment that shows him running down the hallway, and within 3 seconds of him entering the door, you hear the shots. Like, you hear all of these things. And yeah, so
Did
hard.
it feel, as you were growing up, that this was directed more towards you than any of
I
the other
agree.
children?
They had their own fair share of abuse for various other reasons, but in regards to me being the oldest, He would throw, see, my younger brother, Sammy, he's younger than me by a couple years, maybe 3. He would throw it in my face that because Sammy's more like him, that Sammy's what I should have been.
So Sammy was more like,
And he could be describing behaviors of a narcissistic father. I don't know his father. I can't, based on what he's describing, the individual that is most like the narcissist is the one that gets their love, and the one that they perceive as the least like them, that is who gets like their contempt and hate and all of that. And so, whew, he also had some exposure to DV between his mom and dad, and yes. So I am going to jump ahead because he's going to describe when he met Anna, and to me, a lot of what he says is like, because I guess he's going to say that she was maybe married at the time, and like by the time they started dating, that it was after a guy that he knew, had kind of abandoned her in Japan. Because I believe her residency might be in the Philippines or something. And I think he's going to say he pushed her, but I think the evidence showed that he actually did what you wrote. And so, and often malignant narcissists are compulsive. They often do have some type of compulsive addiction that is actually really common with this type of personality type, because they really struggle to cope in healthy ways, because his way to cope was to, so like he got mad and he's preparing, and he thinks it's smart to do 4 bumps before he goes. And so, yes. So after he found out about her cheating on his dad, that's my understanding. I think we should be able to get to that part, because I'm going to play a lot of the cross-examination. The cross-examination is a mess. Trigger warning, this is where he is going to detail what happened leading up to him unaliving the male victim, and then also his wife. Okay, so that is the trigger warning. He's going to go into just some of their back and forth and their behavior. He's going to talk about sending her flowers and being upset with that he saw them, and him destroying the apartment because she, like, he didn't feel that she appreciated the flowers that he sent. His behaviors are just so strange. All right. So I believe this is after the little. Okay, so let's start here.
Is everything okay? She immediately responded, "Hey, got food, thanks." And that really caught me off guard, because it's very dismissive, it's very short. She did say thank you, but she didn't acknowledge.
Okay, so this is coming after he has been physically harmful. I think this is after he has, like, she's found out about the affair with the woman that testified in the trial. And what he did was he sent groceries, but he's trying to repair. So he's trying to continue in the cycle of abuse, but he's not realizing that she's off of it, and she's not letting him back into her life. And he's realizing it, and it's making him mad.
Acknowledge the whole, like, whatever. She didn't acknowledge the roses. And I thought that was so strange.
Objection, non-responsive, narrative. Overruled. Okay, I think the next question.
okay. So you're waiting for an acknowledgement of what in your mind was a nice gesture and a romantic gesture.
Correct.
She responded to the groceries, which you recall receiving a thank you for that.
Correct.
But as you're waiting, did you ever receive any acknowledgement of this romantic gesture that you had done for her?
No.
Who cares?
At some point, did you try to call her? before you went to the apartment?
I believe so. And I'm not sure she responded or answered.
You, after placing that phone call and her not answering and not acknowledging what in your mind was this romantic gesture, what was going through your mind?
The cocaine had started to take effect. My anxieties, my worries, the same things that I'm worried about were starting to come back to me. This is not normal behavior from Anna. These are the thoughts that I was having. This is not normal behavior.
But in my mind, what's happening is he's losing control of her. He's losing control of the situation. And that's what's really. So he has a huge fear of abandonment and rejection, not being loved. Like those are major triggers and fears for him without acknowledging his behavior and his self-sabotage within those relationships. And she has every right to leave him. And he's not allowing it.
She's being shady. Why didn't she say anything about the roses? I have to go talk to her. Because keep in mind, I'm thinking I'm about to hit the road for 4 hours to go to LA. So I wanted to just, well, first of all, my intention was just to do something nice with the roses. But now I'm having suspicions about her reaction. So now I just wanted to talk to her just before I go.
Is that what led you to go to the apartment that morning?
That is.
When you got to the apartment, what did you do?
Well, I first noticed that a portion of the groceries were still sitting on the floor outside the front door, including a case of water.
Let me stop you there for just a second. At this time, did you still have a key for the apartment?
Yes. So I had a key card. These copies of these keys were all created in one go when we first moved to San Diego. When we moved into the Spire, they gave us 2 fobs for our keychains. I turned those in to Anna at her request because they belong to the apartment complex. But I told her I wanted to keep the ID card that I keep in my wallet in case I need to pick up my mail or if God forbid there's an emergency, because I didn't know she had a rental at the time, a BMW that she was renting. It was in my knowledge I was holding the Jeep. So that
once again, control. So he didn't know that she had a way, that she had transportation. He didn't know. So this is all about control.
They were carless. You know what I mean? But I also knew she might have been using Claire's husband's car. But the point is, for emergency purposes, I wanted to have access to the apartment and to be able to be there for them if I needed to.
Did you tell Anna that?
I did.
What was her response?
She didn't like it. She's like, "Oh, I'll just give you your mail. Don't worry."
She wanted boundaries. Boundaries.
Did she ever demand to get that particular, not the key fobs, which you gave to her, but that key card back?
No, she didn't order me to give it back. She just let me know she wasn't completely okay with it. But this isn't some card that I just created moments prior. This is something I've had in my wallet the whole time.
It's from when you and Anna first moved in February of 2021.
Correct. I made one for her, one for me, and we had 2 like pocket circles that attached to our cell phones. So you can just put your cell phone up to the RFID reader. I have the email and everything.
So when you're thinking to yourself, all of these things are starting to build in your brain, the suspicions are coming back, you're thinking things aren't adding up, not making sense. You decided you needed to go to the apartment to talk to her.
Yeah, I thought it was really strange. And I had just given her in my mind, I gave her a beautiful video of me owning up to things. And then I did this nice gesture with the roses. And I'm like, she's still being cold with me. What's going on with that?
So you went to the Spire building. Did you know from having lived in the Spire building for all of these months that there were security cameras in the building?
I only knew of cameras in the elevator.
So then them being in the hallways or in the lobby or in the parking garage, were you aware of that?
The hallways where people live, there's no cameras. But yeah, I'm familiar with there's a camera in the garage.
So you knew that before 10/21.
Oh yeah.
So when you got to the building, you used that key card that you had.
First, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
First, I texted Anna, said, "Hey, I'm here," and then I politely knocked. I didn't just barge in.
Did you then use the key card to go into the apartment?
I did, because I didn't receive a response.
What did you do when you got inside?
Well, at first, I was just observing. I was right at the front door. I immediately noticed all the groceries were on the counter, including the milk, that she had not even taken the time to put it in the fridge. And the first thing I see is my roses, or the roses that I sent, on the counter, and they're crushed by this like mini luggage makeup kit that she had, makeup bag. That makeup bag doesn't usually leave her vanity. She does it in front of the vanity mirror. So for me to see my roses crushed like this, and her makeup bag right on top of it still open, I'm trying to piece this information together. I'm thinking, okay, first of all, she didn't give a shit about the roses. Second, her makeup bag is here. It's open. So that tells me she's quickly putting her makeup on to go see somebody. That's how I interpret it.
Which she could just be, what?
As
No.
you were,
He's
staying
reading
in the
into things.
apartment, did you start to go through some of the things that you were seeing in the apartment?
Yeah, I immediately realized she's not there. So I started looking around. I first opened up the second bedroom, which is the office. It used to be my computer room.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the part where he talks about the app that he uses because he wants to catch her with somebody else. And he uses his 5-year-old's iPad to try to catch her. And this is what triggered the day that he arrived with his pew pew and unalived the friend first, and then Anna.
And where it was, can I see?
You're going to hear it just a second.
I'm going to fast forward past
I
this
was
part.
texting Anna also at the same time. Sorry.
This will be Defense Exhibit 27 for the audio and Defense 28 for the.
And I believe her that she's not cheating on me. So the whole cheating thing, it's just been going on for so long. Like the whole me suspecting that she's cheating, it's been going on for so long. So that's,
Despite his behaviors, there are allegations that he was flirting with other women. He was making advances on other women. And the day before or a few days before this, he was with somebody else.
of course, going to be my
He's going to say that he used an adult toy and that there was never intercourse, but okay. The actual person, the woman involved in the situation, she has a different, she says that they were all the way intimate.
first conclusion.
Okay. Now, after making this recording, did you stay in the apartment?
I started rummaging the apartment. I started throwing.
All right. There's a great question. And what I think is happening here is the classic Darvo. He's denying. He is trying to make himself the victim, and that she was the one that was doing this. She's the one that was the horrible wife. She's the one. Like he's going to try to make her, but he is stuck as a victim. And there are people that have childhoods just like his, but they have the skills and tools to be resilient and not become malignant narcissists. And they have the self-awareness to work on themselves, to heal the trauma. I don't know that he had ever healed like the childhood and his insecurities, because he has a charming side. Because he would say that he would act. And that was how he would make friends, was by putting on a role and acting. And that's how this man gained almost 1 million followers on TikTok and over 100,000 on YouTube. So he was good at, like, he comes across as charismatic. He's good at pretending to be very like confident, but he is his ego. He is so insecure, incredibly insecure, and he is projecting his behavior onto her. And even if she was, because they were separated at this time, she had told him that they were done. So even if she was with somebody else, he had no right to do what he did. She had every right to leave him. And she should have been able to safely leave him. Leaving a malignant narcissist is one of the most dangerous ones to attempt to leave, because they view the other person as like their supply, the source of their narcissistic supply. He definitely has antisocial type traits. Sociopath isn't in the DSM. I talk about it more about antisocial or psychopathic type traits. He's able to, in my opinion, he seems to be able to mimic remorse. I don't see actual remorse because he doesn't actually change his behavior. So he apologizes, but he never stops. The behaviors get worse and worse and more severe. That's good to see you. Maybe good to see you, I think. I work with teenagers. That's the only reason why I know. Oh, this is very troubling, very, very difficult. Let me know if y'all have questions.
Bring some stuff, some of her stuff away. I threw away her makeup. I smashed some of the groceries. I threw the roses on the ground. I was having a huge tantrum. I mean, like, you see how that ended, the level of my voice? That's how that continued off recording or on.
So we hear on the Nest camera footage from that time in the morning, sort of a loud banging sound. And the garbage chute on your floor is very close to your apartment. Is that right?
It's just outside my door to the left.
And so that loud banging sound that we hear on the Nest, is that you throwing things of hers down the garbage chute?
It's the door. It's the trap door of the chute shutting and closing in between while I'm throwing things away.
So the way that video ends, like you said, with your voice being very ramped up and agitated, that's what led into the throwing away of her belongings and damaging the apartment. Right.
At that point, I had been, like I said, I was set off. I was triggered. I was explosive. At that point, I'm just acting on impulse and rummaging, and I'm throwing away her shoes. I'm throwing away her bikinis and stuff like that.
After that, did you at some point calm down?
I did. So what happened was I started to feel severe exhaustion. I felt so.
So he stopped, not because he realized what he was doing was wrong, but just because he tired himself out. Like, that's why he stopped.
Completely drained mentally and physically. I didn't know what to do at this point. I'm like, okay, I think she's cheating on me. Should I stay and wait and see if maybe she'll come in with the guy, or no, I'm too tired for that. I need to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. I have not slept. So that's what I decided, that I'm going to go back to the hotel. But I also realized that, you know what, this moment is the most that I felt that this is actually, that my suspicions are actually real. I didn't want to lose this opportunity to catch it. So in that moment, I saw my daughter's iPad on.
And I'm sure he went over his testimony with his lawyer. I don't know how, this does not help him in my mind. This shows premeditation. He's trying to catch her, and then what? And then what's going to happen once he catches her? Like, to me, this shows premeditation for me. Just with his cycle, I think if he caught her doing something, he was going to be harmful in some way. I don't know if in that moment, if he was thinking, if I catch her, I'm gonna unalive her. But I definitely think, I think he would have definitely wanted to fight the other person. But for me, this right here is gonna show premeditation for me. Not a lawyer, just like a person that knows about the psychology stuff.
On the table. And like a stupid idea that just right on the spot. Discord. I thought about Discord, which is a platform. Do you want me to describe that platform, or just keep going to what happened?
I'll ask you a question.
Okay. So he's going to use his daughter's app, his daughter's iPad, to open a Discord channel. And he's going to create on that, because there are two, he has his account, and then on her iPad, it's logged into a different account. And he plugs the iPad into the wall so that he hides it behind the bed, and he opens a live call where he can then monitor. And like, he wanted a way to try to catch her, and he specifically put it in the bedroom because he was thinking, if somebody's going to do something, it's going to be in the bedroom. And this is his calm voice. He gets agitated and more escalated in other parts, but his emotions calm really, really quickly. So he is going to go in and out of emotions very, very quickly. I think he feels strongly, but then he's able to he's able to kind of come back quickly. And wow. And so I definitely get, because somebody mentioned seeing some borderline personality traits. And for me, I see a lot of narcissistic traits just with his need to like pump himself up that I'm the best, I'm the greatest, you know, you're lucky to have me, despite him being harmful. His and then some of the antisocial type traits of completely disregarding the law, because it's not just in this situation. There are multiple other, he has a pattern of engaging in harm towards her and not allowing her to call the police. He was kicked out of the military. I skipped over that part. He was kicked out of the military after somebody saw him. So he's going to say that Anna fell, but somebody thought that he had like been aggressive with her, and then a bunch of people like start fighting him. Somebody else approaches and he starts engaging with that person, and so he ends up getting kicked out of the military after that incident. That was my understanding of what happened. So with Discord, I'll let him explain. He does. I'll let him explain this part. I wanted to get back. I didn't answer the question. I don't think I answered it. Okay. Asking again, how do therapists distinguish frantic efforts to avoid abandonment versus coercive control? And I think you have to have, because if I did couples therapy and if Anna and Ali had come in together, I would have refused to see them together. They both needed individual work, and he needed to allow her to possibly leave. And frantic efforts to avoid abandonment, but for him it would get harmful. Like he would physically not allow her to leave, which is illegal. And it reminds me of the Diddy video. I haven't talked about it. With Cassie. I'm not going to play it. But it is that level of you will not leave me. You will not go. And I'm so thankful that she was eventually able to escape him. But often victims in those situations, because you have to separate the two and get the victim in the case to be able to talk about, is there fear? Are they, because there's often a lot of fear involved. And there's also this literal dangerousness when they attempt to leave. And there's this manipulation and exploitation that happens, because I think he went live on his TikTok during one of their arguments to kind of weaponize like his audience against her. And so to me, he just, very, very scary situation.
About it. It's a platform that can be used to live stream something happening, right?
It's a community server for like people to join a community on things that they like, and they can make voice chats and voice channels, and they can stream video games or stream their computer. It's like a chat room with voice and audio.
And this was something that was already downloaded back in 2018 on your daughter's iPad.
Correct. And on my phone and on my computer, because I managed a community of 2,000 members for the gym.
And like, why did he have to mention the number of members? Like, he could have just said, I managed a Gen Kid. Like, he specifically had to mention it was 2,000. Like, he managed a Discord of 2,000 people.
Gen Kid community.
And so when you said you saw your daughter's iPad and then had the idea in the moment of trying to catch what was happening, what did you do?
I opened up the Discord app on my daughter's iPad. That was a separate account. So I had him join the open voice channel. It wasn't a call. It's not something you can hang up. It's just a voice chat channel. And any user who hops into this voice chat channel, by default, their microphone is turned on unless you hit the mute button. So it's just for places for people, as many as they want to communicate. So the iPad joined in the channel, and then I joined it with my phone.
After you did
Not
that,
yet.
where did
This
you-
is his direct. So this is his defense asking him questions.
Behind my bed, there's like this strange little cutout area.
He thought of
It's like a
everything.
little cubby. I don't know if it was by design or what, but I placed it there because obviously I wanted to be discreet about it, but I wanted to catch them having sex. I knew if they're going to have sex, they're probably going to do it on the bed. So I placed it there. I plugged it into the charger, and I left it at that.
After doing that, you said you left the apartment.
Immediately.
When after leaving the apartment, where did you go?
I went back to my hotel and took off my clothes, and I fell straight to sleep.
At some point, do you remember being woken up?
I did.
What is the first sort of memory you have as you're waking up? What are you hearing?
I woke up and I hear giggling. I hear a man laughing, and then I hear Anna's voice, and I'm half asleep, and I'm just absorbing all this, and then immediately I'm like, oh my god, that's Anna. Oh my god, who's that man? Oh my god, there's a man. I'm saying this out loud to myself, freaking out. I mean, I feel like I caught Bigfoot or something. Like, as you know, you believe he's there, but you don't have the truth. But then now there's this evidence, and it's just like I'm freaking out. So
I think they're trying to say that he snapped due to his ADHD and probably cocaine abuse. I think they're trying to say that he snapped. I do not believe his history to me makes this not a crime of passion. A person that walks in like I was just a husband that comes home from work and just catches something. Like he had this hunch. He planted the device. He just hears her talking to some man, and nothing happens. He doesn't hear. So he's going to talk about R&B music, and in his TV interview, which I covered portions of that, he's going to be like, you know what R&B music means, and it's like, she likes R&B music. Like, he's jumping leaps ahead for things that aren't happening here in reality. So his perception is extremely, because often the thing the malignant narcissist is the most afraid of is often the things that they are doing. And that is why they are so afraid in those relationships, and they're so paranoid, because they think other people treat people the way they treat people. So he would have had somebody in his bed. He would have done all these things. He had done some of those things to her. And there is a video where she makes a comment about, because they're arguing about parenting, and he's trying to portray her in a negative light. He's trying to say that she was using substances. Whatever was happening, she did not deserve this. And if something wasn't okay, because the things she probably had to do to cope with his harm, and I don't excuse that. It's just, to me, she is the one that's not here anymore, and she's not the one. She doesn't get to tell her story. And so her friends get to speak for her, her family. Like, there are other people that are having to speak for her because of what he did.
What did you do next?
I quickly put my pants back on. I gathered my keys. I grabbed my Coke. I started to do a couple bumps because I knew, okay, there's a man in my house. I need to be focused because I want to be in the zone here. You know what I mean? Because I was still half asleep. So I was just slamming back some Coke. And yeah.
How much Coke do you think you did in that moment?
I want to say 4 or 5 bumps.
About a gram.
Half a gram that you used there?
Or maybe even a gram.
When you said that you got up and kind of were gathering your things and put on your pants, at this time...
So he's going to have his holster. He's going to take that with him. While he's driving 90 miles an hour he's going to have the bag of the nose powder, and he says he's driving and he's taking more that way. And oh good gosh.
I had asked him to intervene at one point between me and Anna to see if maybe he could be the middleman of reconciling us. So I know he had her number.
So he messages somebody and says, there's a man over at the apartment. Don't tell Anna I'm on my way. Something to that effect. He let somebody know he's going to go confront Anna, but to not let her know, because he wants to catch her. And he thinks if she knows that the guy will be gone by the time that he gets there. He's really, really triggered by lying, despite all the lies he tells. So if she and her lying might have been out of self-preservation. And it's just, it's so toxic.
My intention was, when I had told him that there's a man in my house, I was concerned that he was going to tell Anna, thus giving her a heads up, and then she was just going to have the guy leave. So then I would be at square one again. So I didn't, basically my intention was to just not show up at the apartment and then just like, oh, where'd the guy go? You know what I mean?
So you told him that you're driving over to the apartment, you're listening, it goes silent, and then you hear the music. How long did it take you to get from your apartment, from your hotel to the Spire apartment building?
The commute was 15 minutes.
When you got to the Spire building, where did you park?
Right outside the garage on the red curb where it's like illegal to park. But I just,
So I think it's important to hear him describe what happened, because the prosecution is going to come back at him for it. Okay. So I think it's really important to hear him describe what happens. He's going to say that he just had the weapon, that he wasn't taking the weapon to do anything, that he just wanted to talk. Like that's what he's going to say.
Or you actually see what you are hearing and expecting you're going to find in there.
correct.
When you got off the elevator, what happened next?
As you can see, I was in a hurry to get in there. I didn't even wait for the door to open. I was running. I used my key card. The only thing I had in my hand was my key card. I opened the door. I barged in. I was immediately startled. I stopped right in my tracks like a deer in the headlights. They weren't in the bedroom.
Now he is going to describe what's happening in his head. And in my opinion, this is what, because it's my understanding that all of this went down in less than 3 seconds. And what he's going to describe, for him to think all these things, it probably would have taken at least 30 seconds. Like it would have taken longer. And so I believe that he opened the door, saw the guy, and pew, 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 pew. And then he called his mom. And I wonder if in some way he kind of wanted to blame his mom, because like it's weird that he's going to say he called her for support, but when the prosecution brought up his mom leaving his dad and all of that, because he probably thought his mom would never leave his dad, and he probably thought his mom would never have an affair, and then all of those things, that in no way excuses anything he did, but I'm just trying, like, this is what I do. I try to make sense of it all. And I
They
hope
weren't having sex. They're right there, cuddling on the couch.
talking.
Let me stop you there for just a second. You said that based on prior times that you had shot this gun, when you had your gun on your belt, in your holster, was it capable of being?
So there was no safety on it, and there are times that he's gonna cock it, but it's semi-automatic, or he doesn't have to. So because they found unspent shells. I have no idea about weapons, okay? But I know what an unspent shell is. So he's gonna describe cocking the weapon, and that but there's no reason why he should have done that, and that's where he played this gangster on social media, and her friends are going to talk about him joking about violence. Some of his Google searches, I think, are of cartel. Like, I think he had this fascination with violence and this fascination with these things. And in my personal opinion, him hearing that male voice, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go do it now. Like, to me, this was where at some point, like, unless he worked on this, something like this was gonna happen, in my opinion. And the guy sitting down just kind of like goes like this, like, what's up? Like, because he barges in, and supposedly the guy like does this, and
No, he did his usual, like, so.
What happened next?
I didn't expect that Anna would ever do that to me.
What did she do? She was talking with a friend. Like, once again, he's making it about him. What did she do? I can't believe she would do that to me. What do you mean? She didn't do anything. And even if she had every right to be with somebody else if she wanted to. She literally was just living her life, but it wasn't under his control. Oh my gosh, y'all.
Him of all people. I mean, she knew how I felt about him. She knew how I felt. I was trying to believe her. I was trying to believe that she wasn't cheating on me, that she would let me fix this because I was sick. I was struggling from drugs and mental illness. And I fucked up. I fucked up a lot, but I was trying to fix this. And when I saw that it was him, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the fucking betrayal. I couldn't believe that she could do that to me, to our daughter.
The nerve of him to talk about what she's literally talking on the couch with a friend. That's all she's doing. And even if she was being intimate with somebody else, she had every right to do that. That would not be doing anything to his daughter. He took his daughter. He took his daughter's mother. That's what he did. And he's not taking responsibility for that. He's not.
And before I could stop myself, I just fucking snapped. My gun was in my hand, and next thing I'm shooting, and I can't stop. I'm just shooting. I'm shooting, and I'm even startled. It's like I'm watching it happen. I'm like I'm in the passenger seat of my own body. I can't stop it. And I hear Anna screaming and crying. And I don't even remember shooting Anna. I just remember running back to the front door, and I grabbed the door handle, and then it hit me. I'm like, did that just happen? And I turn around and I see.
So I think this is where the defense is trying to say that he snapped and that he wasn't, like, this wasn't premeditated. In my mind, this does not let him off the hook at all. If nothing else, this proves more of his abusive, controlling behavior. I've given up hope. This video is probably going to get demonetized, and it's fine.
Anna leaning forward, and there's blood. And I'm like, Anna. I couldn't believe I did that. I don't know. I didn't mean to do that.
We heard in the recording that you.
So did you see how upset he was and how calm he is now? Because I think to me, this comes off like an act. And I don't know if the jury is going to perceive it this way. This is the victim, like, I don't know, husband, but like this seems like an act to me. That's just my thought. I don't know him. I don't know, but that's just my thought.
You had your phone on.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You turned that phone on to record it.
Hippos on his campus.
Why
Hippocampus.
did you do that?
When I recorded the phone, or
When you went into the apartment, you had the recording on your phone. Why did you do that?
again, this is just something I started doing in these recent months to make sure that basically, because I don't know how this is going to happen, how this is going to play out. I don't know what Anna's going to say to me. I don't know if she's going to blackmail me. I don't know if she's going to call the cops on me, or if they're going to lie and say I hit them or whatever. So I started recording to protect myself, to make sure I have integrity of what took place. It was to protect myself.
When you went to that apartment and you had your gun in your holster on your pants, was it your intent to kill them?
No.
I don't believe him. That's just my thought.
You said that when you walked in,
I'm incredibly
you
biased.
saw her and saw him. It was like you snapped and were walking towards them with the gun. You know from the audio that the first rack was before the first shot. Do you remember hearing that?
Okay, and he's going to talk about that this was the first time that he had ever fired without ear protection on. So he's going to talk about that. He also took a picture of them both. Like he took a picture on his phone, and then he called his mom because that's captured on his camera, and then he called 911. Okay, so that's the gist of the rest of it. Now we are going to hop over to Cross. I've never, so like, I love following these things because whoever this prosecutor is, they do not play, and they are getting under his skin because he doesn't like to be questioned, and he doesn't like to have his when people try to poke holes in the story, he doesn't want to answer the questions that he's actually asked, and the judge is going to have to direct him to answer the questions at times. And it's my understanding that part 2 of the cross-examination is still going on today. This is what I'm covering. Yes. All right. And so let's go on ahead and play. So this is the cross-examination by the prosecution.
I did.
Where's that audio recording?
You hit up Prince William County Police Department. Don't ask me. But they told me it's just the internet. Relax.
Yeah, there's no recording, such recording, right?
There's a body-worn camera. She was a female officer.
All right, you told us yesterday you wanted a gun that was accurate, right?
I wanted a reliable gun.
Reliable for shooting, right?
No, for for dancing. I don't know.
You need to answer the question. You wanted a gun that was reliable for shooting, right?
Yes.
Okay, you talked about meeting Ray.
He is going to look over at his lawyer a lot. He's going to look at the other people. When he was giving his side, he was very much looking at his lawyer most of the time. And this one, he's not as comfortable. And I think he's like wondering how these questions are coming across. And so he's going to be a lot more alert, like on edge during this cross-examination.
For the first time at a party in San Diego in 2020, right?
Sure.
And when you first met Ray, he didn't say to you, "Is that your bitch?" Right?
Yes, he did.
When he saw you and he saw Anna, the first thing he said was, "You're lucky to have her," right?
No.
That's what you told Julia, he said.
When was this? Okay, I can't ask you a question.
You told Julia that when you met Ray, you were mad because he said, "Oh, you're lucky to have her." Right?
This is what Julia said, right?
I'm asking you that you told Julia that, right?
No, I did not tell Julia that.
Right? You didn't tell Julia anything about your conversation with Ray.
No, I did actually, because she had been seeing him, and I had let her know that I would not be comfortable if she had brought him into the house.
But what you told her, you didn't.
Once again, control. And so when he first met Anna, she was with somebody else. And that guy, and he's going to like try to throw that guy under the bus. And that guy ended up getting kicked out of the military, according to him. And I think he gives the guy's full name and all that. But I think anyone else showing interest in Anna, I think that makes him feel, and interest could just be saying like she's beautiful, or like hi, like you're lucky to have her. That can bring up paranoia for him based on what we're seeing.
Tell her that Ray said, "Is that your bitch?" All you told her, he said, was, "You're lucky to have her." Right? That's what you told Julia.
I don't recall the exact words I told Julia, but she knew of what had happened between me and Ray.
The comment by Ray, "You're lucky to have her," translated to you that he wanted to sleep with her, right?
Or that he had his eyes on her.
Right. But he never actually told you that, right?
No, but body language plays a big part too.
What, you're not answering the question.
I don't trust his interpretation of other people's body language. I don't trust it at all.
Ray never told you he wanted to sleep with Anna, right?
No.
Right? That's just something that you're now telling us, "Oh, Ray said, is this your bitch?" because you're trying to paint him as a bad guy, right?
No.
Yeah.
I actually tried to be his friend. Even after.
And he actually was nice to you, right? He made a comment on your Instagram about someone in your life passing away, and he said sorry for that, right?
I believe so. I also DM'd him one time when he was in Mexico, and he.
Objection, non-responsive.
It's the same. All right. Just the question, the answer, question, the answer.
But what happens when the question is like forcing me to say something specific?
Well, that's
what happens when I'm asked a question I don't like. So I'm not laughing because like we have to breathe. This stuff is way too heavy. It's way too heavy. Like what if she's trying to get me to say something I don't want to say? What if I don't like the question? Dude. Oh my gosh. I'm sure I don't know for sure. I'm sure his lawyer was like, I do not recommend that you testify. I do not think that you'll be able to handle cross-examination. But to a narcissist, that makes them want to do it even more. They're like, oh no, I can handle it. I can take it. Like he's just like that part. I'm gonna have to rewind it. I'm gonna have to rewind it. I'm gonna play.
Objection, non-responsive.
It's the same. All right. Just get question, answer, question, answer.
But what happens when the question is like forcing me to say something specific?
Well, that's part of the question. She's asking specific questions, so just answer the specific
Right.
questions. Next question.
Ray was nice to you in making a comment about someone in your life that had passed away, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you told us yesterday there was no hope with being friends with him, that wasn't true, right? Because
No.
he was nice to you.
That was only at one time on social media. I'm talking about in-person interactions. It's a different experience.
You hated Ray from the first night you met him, right?
I did not hate Ray.
Ray disrespected you, right?
Of course.
You don't like being disrespected, right?
No.
After your second trip to San Diego, you hated Ray even more, right?
I did not hate Ray.
You talked about another time where you hung out.
The prosecution is trying to lay a foundation that he already didn't like Ray, that there was this animosity and anger and and he even said it in his testimony, anybody but him. And by all the accounts I've seen, somebody did leave a comment saying that there might have been something happening between Ray and Anna. I haven't seen anything to suggest that. I haven't heard any of her friends or anybody else say that. And even if they were in a relationship, Anna had every right to move on. So she does not belong to him. She is not his property. Ali should have let her move on.
Out with him and he didn't want to be your friend, right?
No, I spoke about the second time I saw him at the party. I got him a beer and sat down with him and attempted to have a civil conversation.
And you didn't like him though after that, right?
No, I had decided that he's not interested in a friendship with me. He's interested in him.
Right. So
And maybe he just thought he was a jerk. Like Ali comes off like a jerk. Like he's not somebody that I personally would want to befriend. He seems like the type of person that would meet somebody and immediately be like, "Oh, have you seen me on TikTok?" And oh, I have almost I don't know. Like he seems like a person that would just brag and try to puff himself up, try to be better than everybody else. That's just the vibe I'm getting. Or he would just be it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. And I think when other people didn't like the way that he treated Anna.
So you talked about your move to San Diego, and you're basically telling everyone that
Emotionally
it was solely Anna
immature.
that wanted to move, right?
Initially, but I was open to the idea as well.
Because you wanted to come to the West Coast and promote your Gin Kid brand, right?
I saw that it was it would open a door for me to go to LA easier.
You were interested in the limelight, right?
Sure.
Right, and media attention
Sure.
and fame,
Sure.
okay? And you're an actor, right? That's what you did,
Content creator.
right?
I wanted to be an actor.
But you did a lot of impressions, right?
Yes,
You're a good actor, right?
to a certain degree, but not good enough to be in a movie. Well, I don't think.
Okay. And so you also were
He can be self-deprecating at times, but in the other interview, he did talk about wanting to be an actor in movies and thinking he was good enough for that. That came up in the other interview, which was much more unhinged than this. So, yeah.
interested in being here because that would help your career, right?
Being where?
Being on the West Coast.
Oh, I thought it'd be easier to collaborate with LA content creators. Yes.
But you're blaming Anna as like the sole reason, as the person who dragged you here, but you wanted to be here, right?
No, I did want to be here. What I said was that Anna, she put pressure on me to make the move exactly when we did. I had suggested not that we cancel the idea, but that we just put it on hold so I could be there for my brother and my family.
But again, you wanted to be here, right?
Sure.
You're happy to be here.
Yes, I like San Diego.
And once you moved to San Diego, you continued being violent with Anna, right?
No,
No?
no.
But you testified multiple times yesterday that you were violent with her on many occasions.
Down the road, I mean, once things started to get bad, yes.
In July of 2021, your sister Shireen was visiting you, right?
Yes,
Okay. She was staying at the apartment with you and Anna
yes,
and Amira, right?
yes,
And you punched Anna in the face, right?
yes,
Multiple times, right?
yes.
You continued attacking Anna until Shireen came in, right?
No,
Probably, are we switched over?
They're going to show a picture of his face, and he's going to put on lotion for some reason.
Thank you.
I'll go back so we can see that. For some reason, he puts on lotion. He's very, very controlled. Very, very controlled.
Gave her cuts near her eye,
yes,
and then days later, her whole face turned black, right?
no.
You saw her a day or two later, right?
It didn't turn black, but it looked like that.
Yeah, so she still had injuries, right?
Yes,
Her face was swollen.
yes,
Your sister Shireen wanted to call 911, right?
I believe so.
And you told her not to, right?
I offered to leave instead.
You told your sister Shireen not to call 911 after you punched Anna in the face, right?
I did.
And you told Anna not to call the police too, right?
I believe so.
Because you didn't want it. You didn't want to be arrested, right?
Right,
You deserved to be arrested for what you did, right?
sure.
But you didn't want it to affect your life. That's what you testified to yesterday, right?
It was a sudden thing, and
Mr. Abulaban, answer the question, please. You didn't want this conduct to affect your life, right?
I didn't want it to have permanent implications, yes.
Right. So Anna did not call the police based on your prodding, right?
I can't confirm that.
She should have called the police.
Because of what you did.
Sure.
And 911,
Yes.
but you convinced her not to,
I don't know if I convinced her, but I certainly asked her not to.
right? And you often did that. You would convince her not to call 911 or the police to report your violence, right?
Yes,
Because you did not want to take responsibility for any of your conduct, right?
I just didn't think it needed to go there with legal. I took responsibility in the sense that I immediately apologized and I was willing to work away, get past.
How convenient. Like I apologized and I'm willing to work. What? Like you are the person causing harm. It's not on you to decide if she forgives you. Like he seemed to think that like all he had to do was say I'm sorry, give her some roses, or like that all he had to do was say he was going to get help, and that should undo everything. And individuals like him do stuff like this. And once again, I'll say it again, they use exploitation, coercive control, meanness, and cruelty. And then when they're caught, they try to play the victim. They use that charm, and they have little regard for the consequences of their behavior.
But
Oh, so an apology by you makes everything okay.
Exactly.
no, but it's a start.
And in fact, after you did this to Anna, she took photographs on her phone as well as your sister, right?
Yes.
His apology was trash. Trash. He apologized after the
In
Cassie video
July,
came out.
this is now,
So Diddy issued an apology. It was trash because immediately after Cassie's lawsuit, he made a statement, aggressive, like vehemently denying everything that was in the suit and saying that it was full of lies and that there was no truth in any of it. And he also said that she just wanted money from him. And after they settled, they said, we're not settling, saying any of this is true. We're still adamantly denying everything. But then a video of she was defenseless. Okay. So there's a horrific video. I'm not going to play it. There is a video of Diddy in a towel, holding his towel by one hand. I believe Dr. G, I think Dr. G explains, maybe not. I know behavior arts, he covered it because he's like that consciousness to hold his towel is to avoid embarrassment. Like he didn't run out naked to try to get her back. Like he drags her, he kicked, and she's not fighting it in any way. She is just laying there, and he starts kicking her, and she was just trying to leave, and he would not allow it. And he released some BS apology. So he paid $50,000 for that tape, and either somebody made a copy or he kept a copy. There are allegations, they're alleging, I don't know, like they're wondering if the FBI, if somebody might have released it, or if something's happening. Let me know if it sounds weird. Let me know, because sometimes it switches to here. So let me know if the sound is weird. I'm at my office. I'm not at my home office with my mic and all of that. So I don't have a way to boost the court audio. I can try to make sure it's turned up and see if that helps at all. Okay. I don't know if that will help. I can try to turn my mic down a little bit. I can do that.
The next day, you sent Anna some messages on Instagram discussing your violence with her, right? Remember I showed you those messages? No, I'm sorry, not showed you. Show them in court.
Oh, yes, I've seen what you've shown in court.
Okay. And you remember what you messaged Anna, right? You told her, she told you that you were violent with her and you punched her and Shushu had to intervene, right?
Right.
She told you you could have killed her if Shushu didn't intervene, right?
She said I could have killed her, but Shireen did not stop it.
But
She said that. She
said
said
that, right?
Yes.
And you told her that you lost control, right?
I did, yes.
And you apologized for putting hands on her, right?
Yes.
You apologized over Instagram, right?
Yes, because I wasn't present with her.
And you apologized over email, right? You saw that email in court.
I did.
So you were violent with Anna and then you were later apologetic, right?
I'd say almost immediately.
Because you were hoping that you wouldn't get in trouble with the police for what you did.
It was just because I'm sorry.
But you didn't want to get in trouble with the police, right?
Who would?
And you told Anna in that email that you were an abusive piece of shit, right?
Yes.
Because you were abusive with her, right? Not on just that occasion, but a number of occasions, right?
Sure, yes.
Now, you wrote a note as well in your phone. Remember that note? It was dated the end of June, but then
So he had to write a note to himself, reminding himself to not be aggressive with her. Like that's what they're about to talk about.
made some changes to it July 23rd of 2021,
Yes.
right? That was a 3-page note you wrote in your phone,
Yes.
right? So what did you do to abuse her starting in June?
So the original date of that, if I can give some context.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
What did you do in June to abuse Anna?
So I did nothing on June. The reason why it has a creation date of June is because it was let's say a grocery list or something that I later used to replace it with the new updated message.
So you deleted a grocery message and wrote instead a big lengthy message about stop abusing your wife?
Yeah, sometimes I use the notes to make reminders for myself. And if it's not important anymore, I'll just replace the contents with whatever I'm thinking in that moment.
Right. So you acknowledged on July 23rd, 2021 as well that you had been abusing your wife, right?
I was referring to this event.
You wrote over and over, stop abusing your wife, why you beat her up, things like that, right?
And there wasn't just that one event. There were multiple instances over, it sounds like over years. There wasn't just one instance. He's minimizing his behavior, in my opinion, if I have to say that. Like he's just minimizing it.
Yes.
You wrote in that message that she was wonderful to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was a wonderful wife to you, right?
She was.
And you hurt her badly, right?
I have.
You knew what you did was wrong,
Yes.
right? But you did not take any domestic violence or any anger management classes to address what you did to her, right?
Actually, that's incorrect. After this incident, that's when I called my father and told him what happened, and he had suggested to take a break and come to Virginia, and then he encouraged me to take the neurofeedback.
Neurofeedback is not domestic violence or anger management counseling, right?
Correct.
No, but it is for chemical balancing and for
But not for this type of behavior. I would not recommend neurofeedback for somebody that is abusing substances and being physically harmful. And no, like you don't do neurofeedback for what he's doing, in my opinion. If I have to say that, I don't think I have to say that. Like you don't do that. In my professional opinion, you don't do neurofeedback for this type of a behavior. It might be in addition to therapy, in addition to medication, like in addition to all these other things. But he has a problematic personality pattern, in my opinion. I do have to say that. In my opinion, he has this pattern because an individual that is showing signs of malignant narcissism, that's not something that happens overnight. This is a pattern that they display over from early to late teens through adulthood. And without intensive intervention, the behavior does not change. Sometimes as narcissists age, sometimes their behavior shifts a little bit, but not always. Some get worse, especially with dementia. There's some research about dementia and narcissism.
for impulsiveness. It does correct emotional impulsivity, which is something that I was diagnosed with.
You were diagnosed with emotional impulsivity?
In the neurofeedback results, we never showed it, but it says
no neurofeedback.
So he's trying to get his lawyer to show I don't think he's watched courts before. Because he can't try to introduce evidence from the witness stand. He's trying to get his lawyer to his lawyer gets to do rebuttal if they need to come back for anything that's come up in cross. His lawyer can come back and try to clarify things. This isn't the time, but he doesn't understand how it works, and he is not in control. And I don't think he likes that.
Records for you, right?
there are.
You had a packet of information on what neurofeedback was, right?
I have results.
Okay. You had a packet of information about what it was in general, right?
Yes.
And in fact, the doctor at the neurofeedback center is a chiropractor, right?
I don't know what his background is, but he's the head of the neuro.
Right.
Feedback.
He's a chiropractor, not a psychologist or a counselor, right?
I don't know what his background is. I didn't ask him.
So you never looked up the website of where you were going?
No, it was recommended. My whole family had done it.
Okay. You describe neurofeedback as, attached, like watching a video and having something attached to your head, right?
Yes.
And then you ended up getting like a kit or a machine to bring home with you, right?
Yes.
But what I asked you was, you didn't get any actual counseling for domestic violence, right?
Correct.
Specifically, no. I thought it was a bigger issue. There was a bigger underlying issue with me.
So he was trying to control how he did that. And neurofeedback can be helpful. It can be helpful for ADHD. It's brain training, and it can kind of train the brain. It can strengthen certain areas of the brain. For his behavior, I would not recommend solely neurofeedback. It's so, gosh. Thank y'all for being here.
But you continued being violent with Anna after that incident, right?
Yes.
And
He did not.
when you came home with that machine, you didn't continue to use it, right?
I did in the beginning, but I was distracted with the conflicts that were happening at the house.
But you did not continue to use it to help you stay nonviolent, right?
I was using cocaine and
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, you did not continue to use the neurofeedback supplies that you got to prevent you from being violent with Anna, right?
Correct.
I did not complete it.
Right. So you could have done that, right? You could have said to yourself, oh, I've been really abusive with her. I need to continue getting myself help so that I'm not violent, right?
That's what I wanted to do, but there was more conflicts happening, so I was distracted.
But you didn't. You didn't address your violence, right?
He didn't.
To someone specifically About domestic violence?
Yes, you didn't continue to use the neurofeedback machine or any other counseling to address your violence, right?
Actually, I sought behavioral counseling by Dr. Stephen Band.
You liked being violent with Anna, right?
Ooh.
That's why you didn't get yourself help.
Dang.
Why would I like that? No, I do not like that.
So you would be violent with Anna and then you would apologize and she would take you back, right?
Correct.
Not immediately, but yes.
Right. And she took you back every time until the end of September, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Right? You were violent with her multiple times between July and September, and she went back to you every time, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Anna told you in July that she did not feel safe with you, right?
He does not like this line of questioning, and that's when he's kind of grooming. His mouth is probably getting dry because he's starting to get more and more agitated. And so he's doing things to try to soothe and calm himself. And so he can control himself, but it's in positions that he doesn't feel he can control, or with people that he feels that he can't control. I think he really felt that he could control Anna.
Right.
And she told you to stay away from her, right?
Right.
Right? Because of your violence, right?
Because of the violent events. Yeah.
And because you were controlling with her, right?
Yes.
You saw those messages where she would write to you that you were controlling, and that's part of the reason why she wanted to leave you, right?
That she didn't feel safe around me in that moment.
But you wouldn't stay away from her, right?
Correct.
No.
Then you took your disability leave on July 23rd, 2021, right?
Mm.
And you claimed one of the reasons that you took leave was that your mom had left your dad, right? That was like something going on in your life.
One of the reasons, yes.
Your mom had left your dad long before then, right?
It was not confirmed until they had their intervention or meeting.
So I don't know if in California, so the disability leave, I was confused by this. I don't know. It sounds like TikTok was his main job, but I don't know if because he was a full-time content creator. Yeah, I don't know if in California, if they have something for content creators where they can take disability. I don't know, because I wasn't aware of any other job. I was only aware of this. So I don't know.
In my house, my apartment.
That was in July?
Well, whenever it took place, I'm not sure exactly
When was it?
Well, she had ran away from home, and that was a very big troubling thing for the family. Nobody really knew what was going on, except my mother had confided in me.
So once again, his mother ran away from the family. And okay.
What I'm asking you though is, when did she come to San Diego? When were you all in San Diego on this occasion that you're talking about?
I think it was like May, June-ish. I'm not sure exactly.
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. And so your mom had already left your father before May or June of 2021, right?
She'd left the house, but we didn't know the status of what's going on.
So that was not a recent issue in July causing you to take disability leave, right?
That was an ongoing issue, and that was just one of the issues that was impacting my mental health.
And you took leave because you had just been violent with your wife, right?
No.
You learned that your mom had been dating a man named Napko Sharma, right?
Mm-hmm.
A man she met online.
Right.
And your mom left your dad while she was talking to this man, right?
At some point she did.
And you had learned that your mom had essentially had an affair with this man, or was talking to this man, Mr. Sharma, online, right?
Yes.
Okay. That made you mad, right?
It hurt the family, yes, including me.
You slapped your mom when you found that out, right?
No, I didn't.
Anna saw you slap your mom.
No, I didn't.
Anna saw you slap your mom, right?
She did not see that.
You had it, and I can't ask her, right?
That's not fair.
Because you killed her.
That's not fair.
I'm asking.
That's so inappropriate.
He's gonna get upset. So we're gonna watch the little. I'm gonna take it back. Let's watch this.
Ask her, right?
That's not fair.
Because you killed her.
That's not fair.
I'm asking.
That's so inappropriate. That's so inappropriate.
All right, All right, first of all, I'll sustain the objections. I'll sustain that as argumentative. And everybody, question, answer. All right, that's how we proceed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next question.
You and Anna had a conversation about the fact that you slapped your mom because she was having an affair, right?
I shoved her.
Or you shoved your mom.
I did.
So you didn't slap her, you shoved her.
No,
His memory is super convenient. And if somebody was there and saw it, I would trust what they said versus what he said happened. In my opinion, he seems to be a compulsive liar and possibly pathological as well, where his memory seems to fit his narrative and it might not fit what actually happened. Just my personal opinion.
I shoved her.
Because you were mad at her for cheating on your dad, essentially, right?
She admitted in a very vulgar way in front of my dad that
cameraman.
yes. So yes.
You were mad at her, right? Because
So it sounds like mom made some statement in front of the dad. And the fact that he did something to his mom, because I'm not surprised. But wow.
you don't like when someone is cheated on, right?
That's correct.
That's disrespectful, right?
Yes.
What about when you do it?
And you didn't talk to your mom for a while after that, right?
Maybe a week or two.
She didn't talk to you, right?
She would have if
Because you were physical with her?
No. She didn't even think much of that.
You heard your mom testify yesterday. There was a time where she wasn't speaking to you, right?
She meant she wasn't in our lives. She wasn't purposely ignoring us.
How can he interpret what his mom, the jury's going to have his mom's testimony? Oh my gosh,
But
this
she
guy.
wasn't speaking to you because you had hit her, right?
No, that's not why.
Yeah, very much so.
And you sided with your dad in this scenario, right? You were mad at your mom and you sided with your dad about your mom being with another man, right?
Not quite. I understood why my mom wanted to leave him, and she confided in me alone. But it was the part about her already having been with another man that upsetted me, and I was tormented. I was torn between the two. I wanted to be there for my dad and wanted to be there for my mom. So it was hard to decide where I stood.
And you were, in fact, very close to your dad, Nasser, right?
No, not really.
No, not really. You talk to him on a regular basis, right?
We say hi.
When you were living in Virginia, you would leave a mirror with him and he would watch her, right?
With my mother.
During your time in San Diego, your father was very supportive of you, right?
For the most part, yes.
And actually, during your whole relationship with Anna and marriage, he was very supportive of you, right?
Correct.
He helped you with her visa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
He helped you fly her here from the Philippines with Amira, right?
Yes.
He paid for a lot of things for both of you and Anna. Right?
Correct.
He was emotionally supportive of you, right?
He was more financially supportive, not emotionally.
But you would call him and talk to him about Anna.
I confided in him, yes.
Right? So you were close with him, right?
He's my father, yes.
Okay, and so after Anna gave you another chance in July of 2021, you continued to be violent with her, right?
So scary.
There were moments that popped up, yes, occurred.
In August, there was a time where Julia picked Anna up from your apartment, right?
She did that quite regularly.
Hey, Julia picked her up one night because Anna was scared of you, right?
So she says.
Okay, but Anna was scared of you and she left with Julia, right?
That's what she says.
That was unacceptable to you, right? Anna leaving the apartment.
It frustrated me because Julia became her to-go, on call. Hey, we're arguing, come pick me up. So things were not getting resolved.
He wanted isolation, and he wanted her to be isolated and to only have him.
It wasn't physical violence. It was just me trying to address something or trying to fix something. And Anna would be like, nope, I'm calling Julia. Julia, come get me. And she's just there.
And then you followed Julia and Anna in your Jeep that night,
I did.
right?
I was very upset that this was happening.
Okay. And did you follow them immediately after, or were you tracking Anna's phone to see where she was?
I can't track Anna's phone, but I followed them visually.
Okay, and you swerved near Julia's car to scare them, right?
No, I pulled up to the adjacent lane, and side by side, and I told them to pull over.
You're moving your hands indicating you're in the lane next to Julia's car?
Yeah, we were just.
He's going to try to minimize the fact that he was driving very, very aggressively. He's going to try to minimize that.
Record people without their consent, right?
I mean, it's in my home.
But that's something you would do on a regular basis, right?
In this time frame, I started doing it.
No one gave you consent to record them, right?
Anna did not give me consent because
And
she's the only person I've recorded.
In fact, during that, well, we'll get there, but you recorded other people too, right?
Have I?
I'll get to that.
I don't
It
know.
wasn't only Anna, right?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so you, that video recording that we saw, Anna knew that you were recording her, right?
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
Okay. Yeah, she made a comment on that recording that she knew that you were recording her,
Yes.
and she saw the phone out. And she was making comments about not wanting her kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't being serious about that, right?
Overruled based on your opinion of observing her.
I found that to be extremely shocking for her to say those things. So I took it very.
So there is a video of Anna saying something to the effect of like he could take his effing, I don't know, she makes some statement, but based on everything, it doesn't sound like she trusted him to be one-on-one with their daughter for an extended period of time. It sounds like anytime he had visits, it sounds like she was there. And individuals like this will use the child to get to the mom or the parent. They'll use the child to still try to control. They'll be more concerned about the relationship with the parent. They'll make it seem like they want to see the child, but then like at the visit, they pay no attention to the child and they're trying to talk with the parent.
Very serious.
But she was joking, right?
No, that was not a joking matter.
Anna was a great mom to Amira, right?
She was.
She always took her to school,
Mm-hmm.
right? You didn't.
No, actually, I drove her to school before this whole stuff began.
Anna always picked her up from school, right?
Sure, because I would be at work.
You actually didn't even know what time Amira ended school, right?
Yes, I do.
You actually had to text Anna and ask her that, right?
To confirm it, yeah.
Sometime in October of 2021.
Oh, yeah, she's been out of school for a while, so I forgot.
Oh, but it's because you never picked her up, right?
No, because I would be at work. I would drop her off in the morning.
But you weren't working July through September, right?
At that time, yes. But initially, when she first went to school, that was the agreement. I would take her to school. And
So welcome. So we already covered the defense questioning him first. So he decided to testify in his own case. I would not have recommended it. I think this makes it more clear exactly what happened, just how controlling he is. And he's trying to get his narrative across. And he probably knows that there are cameras in there. And I don't know. I hope he doesn't get like a movie or book deal or anything like that, because he's just very, very problematic. I'm showing this so that we can talk about these signs and symptoms. Yes, because this type of individual can be very, very scary to try to leave.
I know what they grew.
But during this time frame where you're being violent with Anna, she is the one taking care of Amira, taking her to school and picking her up, right?
No, she pulled her out of school.
I skipped the portion. So, oh gosh, this part's hard to talk about. I didn't let him say it. So after he unalived the friend, Anna's friend, and then also Anna, he drove to his daughter's school and he picked her up early. I think he like did some more because he talked about doing more cocaine. And then he says that he was driving to go and drop her off with a family friend because his parents were trying to fly in from Virginia to try to be able to, because he knew he was going to be arrested for what he did. He still had the weapon on him, and but so he makes the allegation that his daughter asked, like, why are there so many police cars or something like that? His daughter's 5 years old. His daughter is 5 years old. And so he realizes that there are police all around him. Nobody has their lights on. He gets over, they pull over, and he tells his 5-year-old daughter, it's because daddy hurt mommy. Like, and he's trying to say that he wanted, but this is how this child found out that something had happened to her mom as she's about to see her dad get arrested. And when he tells it to me, he in no way is thinking about what that must have been like for his daughter. In my opinion, he has no ability for like empathy or for seeing something from somebody else's perspective. It's all about him and what he wants and how he sees things and what he's thinking. Like, it's all about him and it's not about the other person. I see things about like borderline personality disorder. I truly see more narcissistic traits versus I think when he wants to control, because sometimes he would like threaten to unalive himself or make certain threats. But I think that was more about control. I think the main thing is that malignant narcissism. That's what I personally see.
Every time Anna left the house because you were violent with her, she would take a mirror with her, right?
Yes.
Not all the time.
She never left a mirror at the house to stay with you, right?
She did a few times, actually.
When you were violent. Mr. Abulaban, you keep looking at your attorney. I just need you to look at me and answer the questions.
He doesn't like to be told what to do.
Anna never left a mirror with you after you were violent with her, right?
I'm going to overrule that at this point, but I tell you, we're going to need to take our 10-minute recess in the afternoon, so everybody 10 minutes.
Next the screen. On September 8th, you pushed Anna down, causing these injuries to her elbows, right?
Yes.
Please.
Looking at people sick.
I
She had every right to call 911 based on the fact that you were violent with her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, in that instance, I don't agree. No.
You caused these injuries to her by pushing her down, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And Chopper, so I totally get this guy is the worst of the worst. And if this is triggering, please hop out. The Chad Daybell stuff was interesting today. They called a witness to rebut what Garth and Emma said. And so I won't be covering that here today, but I definitely saw that. So please feel free, if you need to see something funny, do something else, please do. I have about 5 to 10 more minutes before I have to hop off, but we're gonna get through a little bit more of this because he's gonna get upset about somebody in the courtroom.
And she had every right to call 911 to report that you were violent with her, right?
Well, I was trying to leave the apartment, so I don't think that she had the right to call the police on me on that.
So, and he's trying to say she didn't have the right to call because he was leaving. No. So somebody can call because of what you did. Like, your behavior after has nothing to do with whether or not they can call.
She didn't have the right to call the police because you were physically violent with her?
Okay, she has the right to call the police.
Okay. But you taunted her about the fact that she was calling 911 on you, right?
I was upset that she was already midway through the call. Yes.
But you were taunting her on your social media feed, right?
Yes.
Okay. We watched that video where for multiple minutes you were cursing her out, right?
I was.
And you were still yelling at her while she was on the phone with the 911 operator, right?
So you had a good point. So in my opinion, I don't know this for sure. In my opinion, the OnlyFans model, y'all know who I'm talking about, the OnlyFans model down in Florida, who her boyfriend, I think she likely had BPD traits. If you think about my brain is losing it, not really, but based on Dr. My gosh, y'all, when I get put on the spot, I have trouble with my words. So if you think about Dr. Curry with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, if you think about Amber Heard, she likely has BPD and histrionic traits. So those are very, very different. It's all about appearance, and it's about how he feels. Courtney Clenny, I thought so. Yes, Courtney Clenny is the one down in Florida. And I covered the video of her going off and her like, don't leave, but leave, don't leave. That like back and forth, I love you, I hate you, that kind of thing. For him, his love is based on what she's doing for him and the attention, what he's getting from her. It's all very much centered on him with a lack of empathy and a lack of wit. So often narcissists and individuals with borderline personality disorder, sometimes they get together. I've seen that a lot. And sometimes there can be some mutual things that can happen and relationships like that. But yeah. And culturally, so he does talk about what being Arab means. And so I believe he's a US citizen. So I believe he was born in the US. I believe he has US citizenship. And so I don't think his citizenship will be, but it sounds like he definitely has this view that, excuse me, he tries to control women, in my opinion, in life. And I think we have the facts to prove that.
I was yelling on the live video, not directly to her.
But you were yelling and you were calling her a fucking bitch multiple times, right?
She's gonna. I'm gonna fast forward. So he calls her a ton of names. Okay, like he calls her a ton of names.
You wrote this
passed
note on
over
your phone,
those.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were writing this note, basically telling Anna what to tell police, right?
Oh, so he wrote the note saying it was the heat of the moment. He didn't actually hit me. We were trying to block each other from leaving the house, and we were playing tug of war with our luggage. I don't know, something like that. Wow.
Yes, I was.
Okay. You were telling her to say it was the heat of the moment, right? Correct?
That's what it says, yeah.
You were telling Anna to say he didn't actually hit me.
Wow.
Right, because I
Trying
pushed
to
her.
coach.
That was what that argument was about, right?
Yes, he started it.
Okay. And you were mad at Anna because she wouldn't convince Julia to let you come to the party, right?
No, I was mad because she wouldn't stick up for me at the fact that they uninvited me at the last minute. I was already invited.
You see how disrespected, like, but if they don't like him, if they know what he's doing to her, people aren't going to like him. And he just seems like so upset at the fact that he would be uninvited from a party.
But you were mad at Anna because you wanted her to stand up to her friends, right?
Yes.
Because you felt disrespected, right?
Correct.
And you wanted Anna to respect you and talk to her friends.
Well, it was more so I hope she would have done that.
You wanted her to respect you, right?
I mean, I would love to be respected, yes.
On that recording, you called Anna fucking stupid, right?
Okay, she's gonna go into more. It's every single thing, all the letters, including the C. Like it goes through all of those things. I don't know that I can catch when he gets upset about somebody in the gallery starts to. He feels like he's being taunted. Oh, I think it's over here. I think it might be somewhere around here. Let's see.
Read a lot of different messages about conversations you had with Anna, right? Yes.
The
Yes.
cameraman, I don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
On 9/22, you were asked questions about, or you talked about meeting up with Anna that night, right?
Yes.
Okay. But in fact, she was out and you kept texting her, show me respect me, please, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she ended up meeting up with you because you were demanding that, right? I'm asking him what he did.
Yeah, overruled. Do you understand the question?
She asked me why Anna met up with me. I can't answer that.
No, I said you demanded that she meet up with you, right?
And you said that's why she did it.
And that she should respect you, right?
I don't believe that that's why she met up with me.
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
Actually, we came back to conversation.
All right, I'm sorry.
He's trying to say something to the judge. I missed that part the first time.
Is something going on in the break?
There's somebody in the audience taunting me. It's really distracting.
Your Honor, there have been several times throughout testimony that there have been people talking in the audience. I think
All right, well, let me address that right now. All right. If there's any instances of anybody in the audience that is distracting to anybody participating in this trial, I will have you removed.
He was
And if
he
it
was
becomes a
trying to
bigger
be
problem,
in the Air Force.
you will be
He's
arrested.
trying to be a military
So
police
let's just
officer.
understand that right now. All right. Next question.
I don't trust what his thought of what taunting might be. It might have been like somebody like, I don't know what he would interpret taunting, because I don't trust his perception. So, because I think he's going to say again, like who he's going to say the person's name in a moment.
Thank you. And in September, also on September 20th, you texted Anna that she was a homeless piece of shit, right?
Yes,
And a cunt and a bitch, right?
sure.
So there were multiple times throughout your text messages with her where you would treat her horribly, right?
Yes.
Now, that video recording that was played, the one about you having a conversation in the room and Anna was saying you were hurt her finger, right?
Yeah.
That was actually from September 22nd, right?
The video recording?
Yes.
What do you mean actually? What was said about it before?
So you testified that that was from the same night as the party, but it wasn't, because you were referring to the party
Okay,
that had
right
already
here.
happened in that recording. Okay.
So I'm going to skip ahead for this part where he's going to get upset again.
On October 5th of 2021, you asked Anna, does that mean I'm your man? And she said, and no, Ali, right?
Okay.
Right. You know about all these text messages, right?
I'm seeing him here. Yes.
Right. But this is what Anna was telling you in October, right?
Your Honor, can I have her removed in the audience, please?
I don't know who you are.
Her name is Alicia Juco. She's from the friend group. She's been taunting me every single time.
All right. First of all, I'm not going to. I have not seen. Well, I have not seen anything. But again, I'm going to reiterate this. If anybody does anything to interfere with this trial,
He's the one tapping. He's the one tapping. If you hear that.
I will have you put in jail. I'm being very serious about this. All right. Next question.
Okay, thank you. Anna told you on October 6th of 2021, I want you to have your own life.
And I'm sure his lawyer, to me, this does not look good, because the jury is there and the jury might be watching who he's pointing to. The person, the smallest thing might be triggering him. Okay. I will have to take a look at this because multiple people, analysis of Jennifer. So from a psychological perspective, so I've seen parts of it. I don't know if I have anything to add. So the lawyer, covered it. I want to say Emily D. Baker covered it. I don't think psychologically, I don't know if we have anything else, or let me know a question that we have about that specific testimony. But and I think the judge is just trying to be, I don't know, to say, because you can't be held in contempt of court, because saying that she's taunting me. So if somebody was there like, like murder, like if somebody was doing something like that, that's my idea of taunting. I don't know what his idea of taunting is. It might be the smallest thing, could be his idea of taunting. Okay. And so thank y'all so much for being here with me. If you haven't liked the video, if you could just give it a quick like, it helps with the whole algorithm stuff. Good. Yes. Natalie Lawyer Chick. She did some analysis as well. And so the things that are just legal, and often they will break down some of the body language. I know Rob from Law and Lumber, he does a phenomenal job breaking down those types of things. This case is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly hard to watch. And I really just wanted to say he is not the victim in this case. All the things he said, if he has ADHD, if he has substance abuse, any of those things, none of that excuses what he did. In my opinion, what I see is more personality traits. I see those narcissistic, antisocial. I see some of those personality traits. And when he's cornered, when he starts to feel rejected and abandoned, that's when he can start to, by any means necessary, which can include physical, which is just very, 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 very scary. I know he was originally facing the death penalty. I'm not sure if anything changed in California. If did they get rid of it? Is that still a thing? I know he was facing that. I think this is from 2021, I want to say. The curls look good. This is day one of a twist out. Thank you, thank you. So I have ADHD, okay? So ADHD makes you a little impulsive. Like it might make it where, but he was planning, he is methodical, he is not regulated at all. He has no empathy. He has he struggles with social skills, and I don't think he has autism either. I see very clear personality traits. Okay. I've said it on multiple streams. Oh, cool, Chopper. Thank you all. So this is a neuro spicy neuro. This is a good place for us all. But thank y'all again for joining. If you like content like this, make sure that you subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.